Yeah, so um, with the passwords, they actually give you the passwords. There are a few ways you can type it in to unlock the virtual machine. Um, but once this loads up, I'll show you.
I don't know what's going on now. It's saying 3 minutes. That's ridiculous. I don't know. I'll stop the share and I'll just watch. Oh, here it
Okay,
is.
I think it might be net. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so yeah, hit that Thunderbolt. Go to Control Alt Delete. Now watch this. Go back to the Thunderbolt. This is one way you could do it. Now go to type text. Yep, and then type password. It's gonna enter the password for you. Yep.
Oh, fantastic.
And then if you go to the right side, if you well, it's not gonna show you here, but if you scroll down a little bit on the instructions, yeah. Um, keep going. You see how you see that Control Alt Delete button right there? Sometimes the password will pop up like that too. It'll be a clickable button for you to insert the password.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. That's good. I got to step 3 and I just couldn't figure out. I didn't go and read the rest because I didn't make it that far.
Yeah, you use the walkthroughs, man. They're gonna help a lot. Like the walkthroughs are gonna explain what the heck is going on right here, because you're probably looking at this like, yo, what the heck am I looking at?
Cool. I appreciate it. I will relinquish this.
All right, all right. Hold on, let me make sure nobody's trying to join us. I'm not paying attention. Any questions from class, y'all, before we get started? Or Bobby, do you have any questions either? All right, all right. Dami, are you ready to rock and roll?
Well, quick question. Are we supposed to get into the labs? Because I'm looking at my lab now. Um, I'm not sure how you got where you got. Um,
Go ahead and share your screen for us. Let me see what you got.
uh,
If you can, it's okay. I can help you.
sure.
Okay.
Let me share.
All right. So you're under. Go to my training. Um, I don't. Did you redeem your key yet,
I believe I heard.
or did you do that for your student guide?
My student.
Could you get two keys? Did you redeem both of them or one?
Maybe I don't know. Let me try. Let me just pull up this email real quick.
Hold on. I think. Go ahead and stop sharing. I think you gotta. It looks like you need to redeem that second key because it's not showing there.
Okay.
I think you were able to log into your student portal. Just not this one yet. But go ahead and give it a try, and then let me know if you can or not, and we'll figure it out. Thanks for letting me know.
All right.
Hey Dom, you ready to rock and roll?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do it. So Dami, y'all, he is going to be using Nmap. Okay, what's Nmap, Levna?
Yeah.
Anybody know what Nmap is? Nmap.
It's just a port scanning tool.
There we go. It is a port scanning tool. All right, so you want to give us a brief explanation of what you're going to be doing and why it matters?
All right. Well, the primary purpose of the lab is to identify network nodes. Network nodes are basically devices that are connected to your network. So that could be like a phone, a laptop, etc. And going through the lab, there's a few moments where we're gonna like figure out, the IP addresses like we learned in classical. What was that, 2 days ago? We're also going to use Nmap to try to like find some things. And we're also going to mess around with the DNS tools as well. So yeah, that's basically a rundown of what we're about to do.
That's dope. So go ahead, take the show, man.
All right, so here we're gonna mess with the IF config, the IP config, the ARP, the Net-discover, and the patch ping. And we're gonna be using the virtual machine. We're using Kali. Oh, it's already here. We're using Kali since it's Linux.
And if you all don't know what Kali Linux is, all right, this is an operating system. Okay, it's a type of operating system that pen testers utilize, right? Forensic analysts utilize. Why? Because a lot of the software and applications that we use as pen testers or for forensics is already built in. You can see when you started it up, you see Wireshark is already on your desktop. That's a packet analyzer. Okay, you have all these tools here. Go ahead, Donnie.
All right. So we're gonna run the IF config. Config command. And we're gonna try to find the IP address, from the IF config. And so right here, the iNet, that's the IPv4 that we're going to be using. We have the broadcast address as well. This is the IPv6 address. And this is the MAC address right here. Not that, but this right here, the ether.
Yep. And y'all, remember that one of the for this lab, especially one of the most important pieces right here is that IPv4 address.
Yeah.
Right, the IPv4 and the MAC address. That's how we identify this system on the network, with the IPv and the MAC address. So just think about, if you wanted to come to my house, you would need my home address, right? If you wanted to send somebody's computer some data, you would need their IP and MAC. Good job, Donnie.
So when you say IPv4, right, is the v4 just saying that it has 4 sections in IP address or something else?
No, it's just the version. It's the IP version. So IP version 4, right?
So there's other versions like 6 or
IPv version 6, right? Good job.
All right, so next we about to run IPA, which is basically the same thing as IF config, but since we're using Linux, I'm guessing that's just a command for it. And yeah, it basically gives us the same information, really. Where is it?
Past it. Oh, right there.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, this is the IPv4. This is the IPv6. Where's the ether? Yeah, it's all there, but you just gotta find it.
There it is, right there. Yep.
Yeah, there we go. Yep, the MAC address right there. All right. Next, it's asking for what is the IP address for the Etho adapter for the Linux.
0.
ETH0. All right. For the Kali Linux virtual machine. So, gosh. Yeah, it's just asking for the IP address. So we'll just put in the IPv4 address for it. Where did it go? All right, right there.
There you go.
All right, so next we're going into the IP route show. And this command basically just shows us the default gateway. And that gateway is basically like the path that is like used to pass information.
So Quick question here. Well, there's two IP addresses. Why did you choose the second one?
Which IPs? Oh, why did he choose IPv4 not IPv6?
Well,
Because it does ask for Ethernet 0's IP address.
Yeah.
So the Ethernet, right, that's your connection to that network. All right, so it wants the IP for that Ethernet.
All right, we're going to the IP route. Now the default gateway. Because this is.
And like you mentioned, go ahead.
Isn't the gateway basically the same as the router, correct?
Right. That's how your traffic gets out to the internet, in and out.
All right, and so that would be this right here. 1.0.0.
No, it's the 254. Default via.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't even see that.
So that the one that you highlighted, that's the entire network. And we'll talk about CIDR notation later on.
All right, next we're going to ARP. If you guys remember ARP, ARP is the local address book. So it basically just shows us the local devices that we're connected to. And so we're about to run it here.
Good job, man. And that's the only system we're connected to right now on our local area network.
Here
we go.
And so the IP address for that is the 10.1.0.1.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next we're going to be running IP neighbor, basically the same as ARP, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Same thing as the ARP command.
Yeah. All right, so now we're moving on to net discovery. And so this one, I think it gives us like more of a variety, correct, of like the devices connected.
Right, so Net-discover, this is a command line tool that's going to scan your network for devices, right? It's going to scan to see what devices are on your network. So type out this command. So the command goes Net-discover. What interface do you want to scan? ETH0. And what range -R, what range do we want to scan? And we want to scan everything under the 10.1.0.0. Well, everything under the /24 network. Right, and we'll go over CIDR notations later because that's what that /24 is called, CIDR notation. But Net-discover this is going to take a while too. It's going to scan your entire network or that target range for IPs. Go ahead and I think it's 5. Let's just, because this is going to take a while. We'll let it run, but.
This is the one that's supposed to be 4. I think this is what I hit you up about earlier.
Yeah, there you go. And we'll let it run, and you'll see it. Just open up a new terminal. Don't mess with this. So
isn't that what it is? Q?
No. Hit file.
What is that?
Or you can hit that terminal, yeah. Or you can hit that. Right click the terminal and just hit it. Yeah, there you go. Yep. Yeah, let that finish. And
so while that's going on, actually, we're actually switching virtual machines.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's even better.
All right. So yeah, now we're moving from the Linux side to like the actual Windows side, which is A lot easier, in my opinion.
Yeah, Windows is typically friendlier for some because this is what we call the graphical user interface, right? And then Linux, you don't always get a graphical user interface like you do with Kali. You usually just have the terminal or the command line.
All right, so the instructions tell us to select command prompt admin. Yeah, I was gonna ask, so why are we using admin for this one rather than just the regular command prompt? Like, what would be the significant difference?
I think they just wanted you to see this right here, this UAC, what you just hit yes on,
Oh, okay.
the user access control, right? Just so you understand that in order to elevate privileges, right, you have to accept that prompt, right? You don't just have administrative privileges logging in. You have to elevate it. Good question.
All right, so here we're going to the regular Windows because before in the Linux we were using ifconfig. So for Windows we use ipconfig.
Good job.
All right, so we have our IPv6 right here, IPv4. Like it's so much easier to read than Linux. Linux is just all over the place. But yeah, here we go. What is the IP address for DC1? DC1 we use an IPv4. All right, so now we're about to use path ping. And path ping is like it's like trace route, if y'all remember that.
There we
Where
go.
yeah, we're literally just checking for the hops or how long it takes to get from point A to point B.
Good job, Loving. Good job, Dami. That's good. That's good. I'm happy you were able to catch that because it is the same thing as trace route. And this one shouldn't take too long. But if you did trace route instead of path ping, it would do the same exact thing.
But I think trace route or tracer, right? Like, isn't that one longer though? Because I know like it goes from like, I don't know, literally state to state, looking for everything and anything.
I mean, it could be longer. It just depends on where you're doing it from.
Not true. All right, so we got all the packets back. There were 0% loss, which is the question asked here, what percentage of packets were lost during this test, and it's right there. And that's it for the commands.
Yeah, let's go over to the
Yeah, we're going to
the
Nmap.
tool of the hour, Nmap.
So yeah, for this Nmap, I guess we're moving back to Linux. And then if you guys remember, Nmap is the port scanner, and then we use it to identify, the hosts. And we could also use it to, scan for open ports and closed ports, which we're going to be doing later, like in the lab as we go. This was done. I still got the 5, bro.
I think you got that Linux server is still online. You got to shut it down. But it's all right. It's all right.
All right, I'm logged in. All right, so now the first command we're going to run is the nmap localhost. And the localhost is just basically the the host, the machine that we're using.
Right, y'all. So localhost, if you didn't catch that, it is just the machine that you're using. It's a reserved IP for that machine. So localhost, the IP for localhost is 127.0.0.1. All right. The DNS for it is localhost, or the domain name is localhost.
And so next is asking for what port is open. We see right here that port 22 is open, and that's SSH.
See what port scanners do? They're scanning this system for open ports.
All right, so next we're about to scanning subnets.
Yep. Nmap can do port scans. Nmap can do a lot, right? It's known as a port scanner. But what he's doing right now is doing the same thing he did with Net-discover. Okay, he's scanning the network for IPs, like IPs that are live. All right, he's scanning the network for those IPs, and he's doing a port scan against them. So look at all that data he just got.
Yeah, it gives a lot. So next is to run the following command check out how service is running. All right, so this, what I found out was this was a stealth scan. Honestly, like my first time ever hearing of it. It's pretty cool. And it just basically like scans for connectivity. But what was interesting about it is I'm not sure if you guys are hip about the TCP handshake, you know, the SYN ACK. Instead, like it runs the SYN packets, you know, as a form of like testing connection, but it doesn't like run the rest. So with that being said, my question is, can't that be considered a SYN flood, since like it's just sending SYN packets?
That is a SYN flood. Yep. And so what he's mentioning, you all, and we'll go over it. It's the three-way handshake. He's talking about TCP. When you're establishing a connection, there's a three-way handshake that goes into play. Okay, you send a SYN packet which says, "Hey, hello." The target sends a SYN ACK packet saying, "Hey, I'm acknowledging that you're there." Then you send back an acknowledgement packet. Okay. The stealth scan here is not completing the three-way handshake. So it's quote unquote supposed to be stealthy because you're not completing that handshake. However, you know, like Dami said, it's a flood. It's a SYN flood. So it's not really that stealthy when you think about it, right? Because firewalls can detect that if you're not completing it.
All right, so from all the information we got is asking what services are running on this virtual machine, the router. So we see that port 22 is open for SSH, and then port 53 is open as well for DNS.
Good job.
Identify more about the host. So now we're about to do this command. And I'm guessing that this one is going to give us a lot more information.
Yep, an aggressive scan. It's doing so. With a normal Nmap scan, you're just detecting if the port is open, right? Is it open? Is it not open? With an aggressive scan, you're detecting if the port is open, and you're looking for the version that of the service using that port. So you're getting a lot more information, right? And this is, what do you all think this is? What would you consider this? Would you consider it as intrusive or non-intrusive, an aggressive scan?
Intrusive.
Exactly, absolutely intrusive. Very intrusive.
All right. So the next question is, what operating system is running on the 10.1.0.255 host? And it tells you right here, like what is running, which is Linux.
And you wouldn't have gotten that information without the aggressive scan, y'all.
All right, so let's say like from a pen tester, no, or a hacker's point of view, how exactly would he use Nmap to get that specific IP to like run, you know?
And map against.
Yeah.
Right. So that's part of the recon phase. Remember well, you mentioned part today, the first initial phase of the pen test of
Is the reconnaissance.
right, reconnaissance. Right, you're doing recon. You're trying to develop a map of the network, establish a footprint. Okay, maybe through social engineering, which we talked about today. Right, using tools such as the Harvester, which is on Kali Linux, to help the Harvester or accessing DNS servers for IPs. So many different ways you can get the IP during your recon. Okay, you could start by just doing a ping sweep, right, with Nmap, just how you're doing it now. So go back up, scroll up a little bit. Okay, stop right here. Imagine, so you're an attacker right now. You just walked into somebody's building, you tailgated into somebody's office, you turned on your computer, you saw an Ethernet cord and you plugged it into your computer. Hopefully it's that easy, right? But you plugged it into your computer. You're on the network now. Okay, you did IF config already to see what your IP address was. Imagine if your IP address was 10.1.0.2. Let's just imagine that's what it was. With that, we can use Nmap. And we can do the same command you're looking at, Nmap 10.1.0.2 if it was .2, and we could do /24. Or we can do .0 and do /24. Okay, and I'll explain the /24 later. I don't want to confuse it now, but that's going to scan the network for other IPs. And if you scroll down, it found other IPs for you. Right? And not only did it give you the other IPs, it gave you their open ports. And then you said, you know what? Okay, I got these IPs. Let's do an aggressive scan on each of them to get more information, right? Because we're still doing recon. And then after we get this information towards the bottom with the services and the operating system that you just got, we can just go to open source intelligence now. We can go Google that, scroll all the way down. We could Google that Linux version. We could just say exploits available for this or for these services, that open SSH service. Right? You're literally doing what a pen tester would do right now. Once you're on the network, you know, you would just do a network sweep with Nmap just like that. Now getting on the network is a task, okay? But good job, man. I like that question.
All right, so task number 9, we're gonna be scanning for the open ports between 20 to 200 that are on the network. And another question, this 10 that I can't remember, was that the IP address for the router or default gateway?
And so, all right, so I'm trying not to get into side notation, but the 10.1.0.0/24 is a range of IPs. So it is a range from, where's my pen? I can't find it right now. It is a range from 0, that last 0. You see that last 0 in there?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is a range from 0 to 256. All right, so 10.1.0.1, 10.1.0.2, 10.1.0.3, all the way up to 10.1.0.256. So it's scanning all the IPs in that range, whatever it can find, whatever is alive. That's what we call it, alive. It will do a port scan on it. And so the ones that it's giving back to you are the ones that it found. So if you want to see the router, you would have to scroll down a little bit. I think it was 10.1.0.254. But it may or it may not be on there. If there's a firewall, there it is. The last one. See, so you see how it's scanning all the, you see how I just mentioned all the way up to 256?
Yeah.
254, there's 22. And I think there was an 11, but that's what it's scanning. And it's scanning between ports 20 and 200 right now on the section you're on. So it says it's port 80 open on MS1 after that scan.
We did the scan right. Oh, we ain't even put it in that. All right. 200.
This is what pen testers do, like literally. This is part of reconnaissance. So I really want you all to practice these labs a few times over the weekend, just for your own benefit. It'll help you understand the process, the Nmap, the pen testing phases.
Right. Hey, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to, the code doesn't seem to be working for the lab.
Okay, we'll take care of it. Don't worry. We'll probably have to set some time aside tomorrow to do that.
Okay.
All right, so this is the report for MS1. It's looking for port 80, which is the HTTP protocol.
There you
and
go.
It's open. So yeah. So now we're about to run the top 20 most common ports.
All right, so this right here is a switch. All right, and it's a switch telling Nmap to look for the top 20 ports. You can switch it to top 100, top 6,000, and it's gonna do it. Go ahead.
If I was to do top 100, right, I would just replace this 20.
Yes.
All right, now this next one. Run the following command to quickly scan the network for hosts that are up or down on the network. Okay. Zero, 24.
So what you did here was a ping sweep. So what you did here, you asked Nmap to quickly check if these systems are online. So how do we check if something is online?
You ping it.
Exactly. So Nmap just pinged all those systems in that range from 0
But
to
it
26.
only gives us the MAC address, but not IPv4 or IPv6. Why is that?
It does. It does give you the IP. Look below. Yep. Say Nmap scan report for IP. Host is up. MAC address. Boom.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see.
Good observation on that. That's good.
All right, which server is configured as an email server? You need to look. So email transport protocol used for each.
So what port number does SMTP use? We haven't gone over port numbers yet, but does anybody know?
25.
Yep, 25. So let's look for what system has port 25 open. Whatever system has port 25 open has a mail server.
And that's MS1.
Yes. So if you were scanning a system and you saw port 25 open and you saw SMTP, you can assume that you're looking at an email server. Right? You see how you're doing your recon? So this is the last one we're going to do, but you see how you're doing your recon and putting together your map of the network.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions, y'all? Any questions on Nmap? I really want you all to play around with Nmap. Why? Because it's definitely a tool that's talked about on the exam, and it's a good skill set to have. It's a good skill set to land in an interview and exceeding on the job. Right? You don't have to drill yourself too hard, but I want you to play around with it.
Hey, Toby, is Nmap an open source tool, or do you have to pay for that?
It is an open source tool.
Wow.
Right. It is an open source tool. It is wide.
Does that only work on Linux?
So there's another type Zenmap in your for me. There's another thing called Zenmap, which I believe works on Windows. I'm not 100% sure. You could type Zenmap in the terminal. It should open up.
Oh, in the terminal here?
Yeah, it should open up, I think. Zenmap. Yeah. Oh, never mind. So
But
click the left button all the way at the left, the icon, top left. No, yeah, the Cali. Right there, yeah. And then just type in Zenmap. Or maybe it's not on here. But Zenmap it's the graphical user interface version of Nmap.
yeah, I got
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
this one like.
Yeah, that's what it is right there. Yeah, so that one works on Windows. It's a lot easier to use than Nmap. It's 10 times easier. But if you had a backdoor on your target system, you wouldn't have the capabilities of using Zenmap. You would be forced to use Nmap because you would only have a terminal. Backdoors, remember, are terminals or command prompts. Good question, Shane. Anybody else have any questions? Hey, good job, Dami. You did a good job at explaining these stuff. We can pick on you again for next week if nobody else wants to. I'll see if anybody else wants to volunteer. But then if we don't get any volunteers, I'll keep picking on you because I know you said you wanted to sharpen your hands-on skills. So the more you do this, the better the muscle memory, the more articulate you become. So how'd you feel about it?
Yeah, it felt great. I'm actually learning, a lot. Like I told you before, I never really had that hands-on. So like actually being able to work on this Nmap stuff rather than just reading it is like a huge difference.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. And if you got any questions about it, let me know. I use Nmap every week. I'm not gonna say every day, but I use it every week. I use a lot of these tools on a weekly basis. So just let me know. And if you all have any other questions, and our folks on YouTube, if you have any other questions, let me know. Hit me up on Discord, send me an email. But other than that, we are gonna shut Cyber Thursday down for the night. This was a great session. Dami, congratulations on getting through this, and good job. Good job. All right. Good night, everybody. I will see you. Class, I'll see you on Monday. Everybody else, I will see you next Thursday.
Okay, bye.
Wait, hold up 1 second. What about when would I get help with the logging into the lab?
Yeah, I'll help you right now.
Okay.
I can help you
Bye.
right
Good
now.
night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.